So this question involves vectors and journeys. So let's have a look at the information, add it onto the picture so that we can then start doing the question. So let's have a look. They're telling us that PQ is A. So don't forget the letters go in the direction. So we put an arrow. So we're going from P to Q. So that's going to be labelled A. Then they're telling us that PS is B. So the journey from P to S is B. And then they're telling us that X is a point on QR such that QX to XR is 3:1. So in other words, this is 3/4 of QR and this is 1/4 of QR. So that's the journey. Add the ratio of 4, so it's about fractions in quarters. 3/4, so that's 3/4 of QR and that's 1/4 of QR. So that's the information we can get from the picture, and we need to then ask ourselves, what do they want us to get? Well, they're also telling us that QR is equal to 2PS. So again, we've got to remember, tick off to make sure we've used all the bits. And that bit we haven't used yet, so let's make sure we've used that. So QR is equal to 2PS. Now they told us that PS is a B. We've seen from the ratio that 3/4 of QR, well QR then must be 2B. So 3/4 of QR, well 3/4 of 2 is 1.5. So 3 over 2B for that bit, and that leaves a half a B for that bit. So before we've even started thinking about the question, we've put all the information onto the picture, which hopefully will help us with our journey. So from P to R, we look for a journey we could take with known things. Well, no good going along here because I don't know anything about that vector there. So I can go there and I can go there. So PR must equal the journey from P to Q plus Q to R. So write down the vectors of the journeys and then add them together. So we've got P to Q, which was A, and Q to R, we've worked out, was 2B. So the journey PR is A plus 2B. So here we'd be writing A plus 2B. So that would be the answer for the first bit. They then want us to do the journey S to X. Well, let's have a look. If I'm going from S to X, then the journey I need to do is that one. Now, because of the way vectors work and their resultant, I can go any way I like to get from S to X. The answer for S to X will be the same whichever journey I take. So I could go along SR and then back to X, or I could go there, there, and there. Doesn't matter. The answers will be the same. As I know everything going in that way, I'm going to go from S to P to Q to X. So we write out what we're doing. So on the exam, that's what we're doing. So SX is equal to the journey SP plus PQ plus QX. Now, because I've written all the information onto the picture, then all I've got to realise is that going from S to P, I'm going against the arrow. So that's going to be negative the vector. And the other vectors, well, Q to R was a positive direction, so the arrow should be going in that direction. So we've got negative B plus A plus 3/2 of B. So S to P was negative B, P to Q was positive A, and Q to X we worked out was 3/2 of B. So 3 over 2B. Now we should simplify vectors to get the full marks. So we've got an A, nothing else happening with the A. And then we've got 3/2 of B, take away a whole B. Well, that must leave us with half a B. So we're going to be left with half a B. So on the answer line, we'd be writing A plus half a B. So vectors, not too bad a topic, as long as you remember to put the arrows in the direction that the vectors are going. And label up your pictures before you start doing the questions with all the information so you could see the journeys you could make with known facts, and it didn't matter which direction you went in, you would have got the same resultant vectors. So that's vectors. Make sure you write out your workings, show the journey you're taking, fill in the missing bits, add them together, and when you've got slightly more complicated journeys, then simplify down to make sure you've got the simplest form on your answer line.